In this episode, we're going to take a look at that ever popular idea of turning in a barrel. So we're looking at our three pros here for this example, and we've got three different size barrels, and we based the barrel size on stance width. So we tried to get us a narrow golfer, kind of a medium stance golfer, and a wider stance golfer for a 7-iron, and then just scale the barrel. They're all the same barrels, and just scale them so their knees are inside the barrel. So that gives us kind of a representation of what we're looking at here overall. So we can see everybody stays inside the barrel in the backswing, and everybody's inside the barrel, completely inside the barrel, right up until transition and a little bit of the downswing. Then kind of that left arm parallel, we can see them start to blast through the barrel. And this is really common, and we see it with, regardless of body shape, shot type, all those things. We see that shift happen on the forward side, on the downswing side, blasting through that barrel. With virtually every good player that we've ever measured. So let's take a look now at kind of inside the barrel for each golfer. So this is our narrow stance golfer. And obviously he's got less room inside the barrel than our widest stance. So let's see how he operates as he's moving. So his nice little shift to the right, still torso, still hips, thighs, all that are still in the barrel. And we can see his shift. So the pelvis is moving forward as the torso moves forward. I think that's an important distinction to make, that both move forward. We see a lot of our amateur golfers who by this point in the golf swing, that left hip is already rose, that left shoulder has already come up, and the left hip is leading the parade into the wall of the barrel. And if we're staying with the barrel analogy, we know that the middle of this barrel has the widest cross section. So we definitely do not want the hip to be the first thing to blast through the barrel. And we can see our pros doing a great example of showing us what should happen. That's that upper leg, that upper thigh, and that left lat, left shoulder going through the barrel before the actual hip. And then because he has such a narrow barrel, he gets it all the way through there and goes on through his finish. Now let's look at our medium golfer. And we can see pretty much the same thing. Not near as much move off the ball early, has a little bit of it late. And then we're still seeing that same shift both forward and downward. And then we can see that left shoulder, left upper leg beating the hip as it comes into the target, comes into the ball. And then on through impact, he gets the hip through the barrel. So again, it's not the hip that leads this parade. It's the upper leg and that left shoulder getting everything through or up to the barrel first. Now let's look at our widest golfer, who has the widest margin of movement inside of his barrel. You can see a nice little move off the ball. Now he positions his torso and his pelvis to move down and forward. Again, something we see with just about every great golfer. And then again, that leg blasting through it, that left shoulder way up there. And again, this golfer has more room to travel. That's why you're not seeing his left shoulder move through the barrel. But he is up to the wall of the barrel, and the hip would be the very last thing. Actually, his right hip blasts through the barrel. So we like this analogy of using a barrel in the golf swing. We don't think it's a myth because for the most part, the hips don't blast through the barrel on either side. There are examples, but for the most part, they don't. And it allows the golfer a lot of freedom, both in the backswing. We definitely don't really want to see anything going through the barrel on the backswing. But on the downswing, we like to see the leg, the shoulder get up to or through the barrel. But the hip should not be the first thing to go through that barrel. So we like the idea. If it's a great idea to practice with, if you're one of those guys or gals who has the left hip blasting through the wall of this barrel first, you might want to rethink that and take a look and let this visual sink in of how these pros are moving their bodies relative to turning inside of a barrel.